Hello. We've had to move this week to a slightly bigger space because I'm going to be building quite a large design. We're going to be putting together a sculpture of a Nutcracker Soldier, which is a very, very popular thing for Christmas. Absolutely smashing to put either side of an entrance door or to greet guests at a party, or lots and lots of different possibilities for it. But he's going to be quite tall, so we've moved into a bigger room. I'm going to be building it in quite unusual colours. Obviously, you know, red, green and gold are the traditional colours for Christmas, but we thought we'd switch it up a little bit and do it in a pastel shades, just for something a little different. So we're going to be using the Sempertex pastel matte range, and the three basic colours that we're going to use for this particular design are the pastel matte green, pastel matte lilac and pastel matte pink. We're also going to be using a range of different sizes, so it's quite an interesting design to put together, but nevertheless very simple. The sizings are all on a recipe and design sheet that can be downloaded from the Decorator Hub. So just visit the Amscan website, click on Decorator Hub, go to recipes, and you'll find all the instructions and the sizing on there. We're going to start off from the bottom of the design with his boots. So in order to create a little bit of definition, we've got two sizes in the same cluster. Firstly, I've covered this, the pole. This is a lamp base with 5 sections, so it's around 1.8 metres, 6 feet tall. And I've covered it with a pink 660, which I've tied in at the bottom, stretched up over the pole and tied in at the top. It's quite a simple thing to do. So we have here a cluster of 4. These two are 7 inches, these two are 9. And we're going to put them onto the pole at the base so that the larger ones face forward, and that gives us the boots. And then to continue up, we then add in a cluster of 4 5-inch balloons, inflated to 3.5 inches, and then a cluster of 4 12-inch balloons to 7, and that gives us what's known as an alternate size column, and it produces vertical stripes, which in this case work very well as suggesting the 2 legs of the Nutcracker Soldier. Follow that with another set of 4 5-inch to 3.5, and a third layer of 12-inch to 7. Make sure they sit nice and firmly together, but don't squash them down too tightly. If you push them down too tight, they'll go out of alignment and you'll lose the shape that you're after. So that's his boots. We're now going to switch to his trouser legs. Oh no, we've got one more lilac cluster to add, sorry. There, 3.5 inches again. Now his trouser legs are going to be in the pastel matte green, so 4 balloons to 7 inches. 4 5-inch balloons to 3.5. Another 4 to 7. And another 4 to 3.5. And then we can add some detail. You can save the detail till the end if you want to, but I kind of find it easier to add the little bits of detail as we go. So I'll just lift it up onto the table for what we're doing here, because I want to put some buckles on his shoes, and those have been made from pastel matte green 260, and just literally it's a small bubble, a pinch twist, 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 tie the ends together to make the little square. And we're going to attach those to the sculpture with rubber cement, although you can use glue dots just as easily, but rubber cement is very, very easy to use and instantaneous in terms of how quickly it sticks. So work out where you want them to go, little dab, and it's on. Like so. And then to define the top of his boots from his trouser legs, I'm just going to add in 2 more 260s. Now these have been inflated fairly long, let down a little bit so that they're soft to work with, and then pinched back and tied so that I've got a nice end on either end there. And I'm going to take that end and pull it into the sculpture there so that I can add these around there at the top of his boots. So that goes through there like that on one side. We just wrap the end round a few times to secure it. Take your 260, smooth it around, and when you get to the back, oops, pinch it off, cut off the excess, tie it, and use this tail to tie it in at the back here. So, and then go again on the other side. So pull this through, wrap it around, take it around the side to the back, pinch, deflate and tie, and then wrap it in around here. So we've now just got a little change of texture, a little bit of extra detail with the buckles and the tops of the boots there. Oops, we lost a buckle. I'll stick it back on again. Perhaps I was a little too hasty. Okay. Right, we'll lift him down again and continue. So, the next stage is the tunic, his torso. I'll just go and get the balloons for that. And now we're going to start increasing the sizes as we go up. So we're going to finish with a cluster of 4 balloons inflated to 11 inches, and then 10, 9 and 8 as we go down. So we get a tapered shape to his tunic. So the first layer that goes on are inflated to 8 inches. This is pastel matte pink. So we've got 7 inches here. The first pink layer is to 8. So we start to taper outwards, and then the 5-inch clusters are correspondingly larger as well. This is a slightly different pink, and I'll explain why in a moment. But these are inflated to 4 inches. This is fashion pink. It's a little bit darker. 12-inch balloons inflated to 9 inches. And then 5-inch balloons inflated to 4.5. "12-inch balloons inflated to 10 inches. And 5-inch balloons inflated to 5 inches. All of these balloons have been overinflated and then downsized so that they are as round as possible and quite soft, so that you can work with them more easily. And then we finish off with the 12-inch balloons to 11 on the top there. Like so, and that just takes us nicely to the top of the pole. We can just adjust a little bit if required, but it should just sit well on the top of the pole there. Okay, so that's the body of the soldier completed. Right, next we want to add his arms. Oh no, before we do that, we've got some more details. So across the front of his jacket he will have buttons that link it all together. So what we've done here is to make little shapes here with a 260 with 2 pinch twists on either end, and those will just glue onto the front in the 3 spaces that we have, the smaller one at the bottom and then working up. So that one will sit in there, like so, and the middle-sized one in there. Oops, like so, and the larger one at the top. Like so. Okay, so now we've got the fastenings for his tunic. The arms are made from the 660s. Now this is the reason for the slightly darker ones in the centre here, because the 660 doesn't come in the pastel matte shades, but it does come in the fashion tone. So I'm using the 660 fashion pink to match up with the slightly darker ones there. I've inflated it to the right length so that it will go from shoulder to waist, and then added a 5-inch on the end for his hand. And then we need some detail on the top, like epaulettes. So for the epaulettes we're going to make a flower. Inflate the balloon fully right to the very end and then let a lot of air out of it so it's really quite soft. Tie the ends together, find the top and twist it so that we now have 2 equal sized bubbles. Give it a little bit of a stretch if you need to make sure that they're as equal as possible, and then we're going to twist it into thirds. So we want to make basically 3 equal sized sections. So work out where that goes, double check that it's going to work, twist again. We've now got 3 equally sized double bubbles. Hold them all together like that and then push all the twists together and then twist it round. And that's why you let a lot of air out, because if you don't, this is going to be way too tight to work with. So maybe the first time you try that method you'll find it a little bit difficult, but you soon learn how much air to let out of it so that it's still nice and firm at the end, but is at least soft enough to work with. Okay, so now we've arranged that. I'm now going to twist each petal so that they sit kind of spiral windmill sort of shape, like that. And that goes on to the top of the arm. So we'll take the uninflated part of the 660 and pull it through, wrap it round a few times, to make sure it's nice and tight, and then we can cut off what we don't need. Okay, we then need to add a little bit of extra detail here. So I'm going to make, well, I've already made a bubble chain here of equally sized bubbles, and you'll find that you probably need around 11 bubbles to go round the top here. So this is going underneath here like this. I made some extras so that I can pull it nice and firmly. That will go there. Twist the ends together. Deflate what you don't need. And tie it off. And remove the excess there. And then for this end, for his cuff, this appears to be deflating slightly. We'll just ignore that rather than replace it now, but it can be replaced at any point. But around his cuff, we need another little set of bubbles. So in case you're not quite sure how we do that, make a twist, make sure you've got plenty uninflated, hold on to the end at all times, make another twist the same size, keep holding on to the end, make another twist same size, always twist in the same direction. I find it quite easy to roll the balloon down like this. And for the cuff, you'll probably need 7 bubbles. You won't need quite so many. So I've got 7 there. I'll make an 8th just in case. And then this will wrap around there like so. Yeah, 7 is the right number. And then again, deflate. Tie and remove what you don't need. And then the arm can be, oh no, with one more little thing, just on the top here, to tidy it up, 5-inch, really small, and just tie it, pull it through, so that it sits in the top there. And I think these look really good as epaulettes, but they also look like little crowns. So that's another little idea I shall work on. These now will sit on the sides like that, also with rubber cement. So hold your balloon where you want it to be, and just a little dab of rubber cement where they come in contact with each other, just to hold it in place. And of course, same on the other side. Level up the shoulders. Okay. Right, now we're going to finish him off with his head and his hat. So, the first technique for the hat is the apple twist. Now, if you've not done an apple twist, they're really quite simple, but you need to take a 5-inch balloon in this case, inflate it quite large, let it down so that it's soft. You have to let it down quite a lot more than you might think. Tie it off, and then we're going to push the knot all the way through the balloon till it meets the opposite side, and then grab hold of it. So we push that all the way through there, grab hold of the knot through the balloon and twist. And then a scrap of 260, wrap it round a few times and tie it so that it can't come undone again afterwards. And that is an apple twist. This is going to form the very top of the hat. So in the centre we're going to use another 260 like this. Just inflate. I'm going to take it all the way to the end. This is just a scrap that I cut from a previous one, but I just need the top bit. Let me twist that off, deflate that and tie it. And then that, with a little bit of rubber cement, will glue into here. I'm going to glue it into the top of the apple twist, leaving these exposed. That will go in there. And then a little bit of detail around there. We'll put a few more small bubbles. So I'm going to use another scrap. I don't need much of it. Sorry, excuse me. There's a little bit of air in here. That's plenty. And I'm going to twist some very small bubbles, as small as I can manage them. Just another chain here. Five or six, probably. Couple more. One more. Yeah, and then tie that off. Deflate and remove the excess. And tuck that over there to add a little bit of detail and texture at the bottom. Right, so having mastered the apple twist, you now want to upscale it, because for the rest of the hat, make a big apple twist. This is an 18-inch pastel matte lilac balloon. Inflate it several times, up and down, up and down, up and down, to soften it as much as possible. Then deflate it to around 12 inches, and then that will mean that it is possible to push the knot through, tie it off as before, and then I've put a ring of Fashion Lilac 360, and then a second ring of Pastel Matte Green underneath. And then I will take the tails from here and the tail from there, tie them together with a bit of tension, and that will sit that on the top there. And then there is his hat. His head is quite simple. It's 24-inch peach blush, inflated to around about 18-19 inches, something along those lines. Put a cluster of the 5-inch green, inflated to 4 inches underneath it round the neck, and tied a pink 260 there to attach it to the rest of the column. And then on the front, this is a 5-inch peach blush, inflated to around 3 inches, just glued on. Moustache made from grey 260 and vinyl eyes, really quite simple to do. And then I'm going to attach his hat with rubber cement again. So we'll take the rubber cement, run it around here, making sure that the joins are at the back and that it's going to sit nice and straight. Sit that onto the head there. Make sure that it's properly attached all the way around. And there is his head and his hat. And so to finalise the whole thing, we now attach this to the top of the column with the 260 here. I'm just going to sit it on the top, pull it down until it sits where I want it to sit, and then hook it around the balloon down here somewhere. So just put this in the top here, pull the 260 all the way down, hook it around the balloon, keep some tension on, and make sure that it's running all the way through the centre of the column. And there he is, Nutcracker Soldier. Merry Christmas. So here is another one that we built entirely in white and gold, just to show that by changing the colours you get different effects, different feelings. Obviously red, green and gold will be to your traditional, but you can change them around to suit whatever you want. And of course, by scaling up and down on the balloon sizes, you can alter the overall size of the sculptures as well.